Isn't it kind of weird that one of the most popular franchises on the earth just can't seem to sit well with theme parks? In fact, not even just one of the most popular, but the most popular. The number one grossing franchise on the earth, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm telling you right now, Marvel has been pushed and pulled around through different theme parks, specifically Universal and Disney, and they have not gotten a truly successful land. The closest land that's come to this is Marvel Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure. And while not being perfect, specifically just because the filler rides are just not great, it is the best Marvel land we have ever gotten. I feel like the issues are few and far in between with Marvel Superhero Island, mostly because the atmosphere isn't totally great. I mean, the cutout superheroes, like, it adds a fun, sort of zany comic vibe, but it doesn't look the best that it can. But that's entirely beside the point, because this is the best Marvel land we've gotten, and the other ones aren't even close. And other ones is being generous. It's mostly just one other land. I mean, yeah, Epcot has Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind, but that's not a land, that's a ride. The only other Marvel land, basically, is in Disney California Adventure. And let me just say that Avengers Campus is as disappointing as they come. I mean, this land is just downright bad. The only two rides in the parks are the re-themed Tower of Terror to Guardians of the Galaxy and the Spider-Man Web Slingers ride, which it's not great at all. I mean, this ride at its best is just interactive and shooting, which is kind of entertaining, but for the most part, I mean, this ride is just purely disappointing. I've never thought for once in my life that I could go on a ride and just be bored. Like, I never even thought that could happen. On top of this, there's not even, like, sets on the ride. I feel like the only thing that's going on is it moves around some screens, and then you shoot some webs at a robot, and that's it. That's the end of the ride. That's literally the only thing you do on the ride. So yeah, it's disappointing. I think the best part about it is the show that's not even connected to the ride with the flying animatronic. I think that's pretty cool. It like shoots up into the sky, and then it's pretty cool. I find it funny that whenever I'm talking about Avengers Campus, I just go between Web Slingers and then Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, because that's the only two things that are going on in this land. The entire land as a whole is just, it feels empty, gray, and dull. I mean, Avengers Campus, even the name sucks. The most exciting thing is probably the character meet and greets, but again, like, what else is going on besides that? I mean, there's a Quinjet on top of a building, but there's nothing else. Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, it's all right. Like, I mean, I feel like the only reason why Tower of Terror ever worked in the first place is because it had a scary backstory that really connected and fit the ride system well. I don't know why, but falling elevators and Guardians of the Galaxy just... I never thought I'd like say both of those things in the same sentence. But it's basically the same thing as Tower of Terror with just a different theme. I mean, not much else going on to it. The outside's pretty cool, though. So yeah, that's Avengers Campus as a whole. That's the entire thing. Those two rides, and then just this gray, dull, parking garage style looking land. Disney California Adventure is planning on expanding this land, fortunately and finally. It's essentially going to be two new rides with an Iron Man Kuka arm sort of flat ride, basically. And then we have a new S-tier ride finally coming to this land, Avengers Infinity Defense. And I have high hopes for this ride because it's potentially going to be like Spider-Man. And if you know anything about anything, the Spider-Man style rides work. And I'm not talking about web slingers, absolutely not. I'm talking about the Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man, Islands of Adventure. Do you see what I'm saying now? Marvel has never really gotten a completely successful land before. But really, when you think about it, it's not a mystery why. I mean, the MCU has never, or at least has seemingly never had a good home in these parks. And that's really because of the insane and wild licensing deals that have taken place between Universal and Disney. To run you up to speed, essentially back in 1994, Marvel was struggling financially, and the only way to stay afloat was to license the theme park rights to MCA Inc., which later became Universal. So essentially, Universal was able to use Marvel characters in their theme parks, including building attractions, lands, and selling merchandise. But that wasn't the entire deal. The entire deal was it included exclusive rights east of the Mississippi River, and the deal essentially lasted forever. And basically, the deal stays afloat as long as Universal just keeps using the characters. Universal also pays Marvel annual licensing fees and royalties, and that's how Marvel Superhero Island at Islands of Adventure was created in 1999. Now, of course, Disney bought Marvel. On August 31st, 2009, Disney Disney announced it's buying Marvel for about $4 billion, and the deal officially closes on December 31st, 2009. Now, Disney owns Marvel, but there's still an issue. Nothing happens to the Universal contracts that they sign with Marvel. They're still there. Disney can't just cancel them out. It's similar to the Sony and Spider-Man deal, if you've heard of that. Basically, the Spider-Man film rights were sold to Sony early on as Marvel was struggling, and now that Marvel is still afloat, Sony still owns the characters. Nothing changes. So even though Marvel has a new owner, the deal still exists. And as I said earlier, this deal essentially lasts forever. As long as Universal maintains the rides and continues keeping up with the land, Disney basically has zero access to those Marvel properties at Walt Disney World. Now, there are loopholes for Disney. Obviously, characters that aren't being used by Universal, like the Guardians of the Galaxy, can be used by Disney. Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind exists. But as long as Universal keeps Marvel, Disney can't have them. And Universal should definitely do that. Because if they keep Marvel, not only are they keeping the greatest film franchise on Earth, but they're also preventing Walt Disney World from using things like the Avengers, Hulk, Spider-Man. Now, obviously, there are downsides to this for Universal. Essentially, the entire 90s comic book style is landlocked in time. They cannot change it at all. They really can't do a lot with the land. I'm sure there's like minor edits they can make to it, but any major changes or new ride additions, they have to get exclusive permission from Marvel, basically from Disney, and obviously Disney is never going to give them permission. But for Universal, this definitely isn't a bad situation. I mean, Spider-Man and Hulk are some of the best attractions at Islands of Adventure. Obviously, Hulk is a roller coaster, so that's a different story than Spider-Man. It has a lifeline, and that will eventually come to an end. Or maybe they could just retract that. They already did it once. They could refurbish the whole thing again. It doesn't matter. I feel like as long as Universal just keeps a fresh coat of paint on the land, it will stay relevant. Unfortunately, it is what it is. The rest of the park will most likely evolve. I mean, Lost Continent's already gone. Toon Lagoon is most likely the next land to change. And the lands will all receive updates, new rides, and things like that, all except for Marvel Superhero Island. And I wish it was just as simple as Universal could just let go of it. But if they ever decided to do that, it would give Walt Disney World instant access to every single Marvel property, which would be hugely bad for Universal. Universal would lose one of its most iconic IPs and essentially sell away one of the biggest deals they made and one of the most important franchises that they have in their parks, all to Disney. But all this is okay because I don't see Universal ever doing that anytime soon. I'm sure there are many ways to upkeep the land. Universal probably is thinking about this already. And plus, popularity for this land is consistently great. I mean, yeah, it's no secret that Marvel Superhero Island is leagues above Avengers Campus over at California Adventure. I mean, as I said earlier, Avengers Campus is just purely horrible. Honestly, to me, it's quite surprising that Disneyland and California Adventure haven't done more with the Marvel property. I know they are trying to implement new rides and they announced updates, but I feel like they could have just done way more initially. I mean, upon creating the land, it just seems so cheaply done. Essentially, they only made one ride. They only changed Tower of Terror. But if you look at Universal, I feel like they got way more out of Marvel than Disney ever had. I mean, yeah, there is Cosmic Rewind, but you have to admit, Spider-Man and the Hulk are both incredible e-ticket attractions and are constantly bringing in high crowds to IOA. So really, if I'm being honest, if Universal ever actually did let go of Marvel, I wouldn't be too concerned about what Disney did with it, because obviously they're not using it well in California at all. I mean, Avengers Campus is just disappointing. Will Avengers Infinity Defense be better? I don't know. I can't say. And even if Universal ever actually lost it, not only would the attraction be probably mediocre, but it also would take like 700 years for Disney to build it. So if I were Universal, I would not be worried about this at all. Just maintain Marvel Superhero Island and you'll be fine. We still have yet to see a Rise of Resistance level ride for Marvel at Disneyland, and really that park as a whole could definitely use updates. But if Marvel ever did come to Florida in Disney, Hollywood Studios instantly comes to mind. Hollywood Studios would absolutely be perfect for Marvel. I mean, it's the blockbuster park of Disney. It has all the movie themed things in it. But now that comes to mind, making a Marvel land really isn't as easy as you may think. I mean, IPs like Star Wars and Harry Potter are simple. I mean, you just make like a planet design, get a location from the movie, or get a location from Harry Potter, whether that be Hogsmeade, Diagon Alley, or Wizarding Paris. But when it comes to Marvel, it's kind of more complicated because that franchise does kind of take place in the real world. I mean, I guess besides all like the planets. I mean, maybe Disney could make like New York. But again, for Disney, they'd probably never do that. They'd just make another Avengers campus. I guess when you really think about it, it makes sense that Universal did better with Marvel. Universal has always done better lands than Disney has. And while Disney is great at making standalone attractions, the lands surrounding the attractions, they're not always the best. All in all, yes, it would be a mistake if Universal gave Marvel up. But of course, I really don't see this ever happening because Universal is too stubborn and they would never give up something that valuable. So until they do, Walt Disney World can never use those properties. And despite Disney buying Marvel, Universal still kind of owns it.